Hello. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. Tonight I want to talk about just an absolutely fantastic article that speaks to renters are staying in place longer. And first, let me say, this is an article, it's the author is Andra, I'm going to say this wrong, so I apologize, Hopulele. And this is a fantastic article, just packed with great graphs and charts and data. It's from Point to Homes, and I've never seen, they have a whole library of articles, which I've never seen before, but it was really, really good stuff. And this article, just right out the bat, and also the article is highlighted in a Scotsman article yesterday. That's where I first saw it before getting to the original article. But, renters are staying longer in their homes. And so in 2022, 18.7% of all renters had been in their rental for more than 10 years. So renters are staying in the rentals for more than 10 years. And that's up from 16.1% 5 years ago. So in 5 years, the length of time that people stayed in their rentals has really dramatically increased. And not surprisingly, and it's kind of a seesaw, at the same time, there are people that are staying shorter. Only 22% of people stayed in a rental for less than 1 year. And that's changed from 5 years ago when it was 27%. So people used to stay in their rental more short term, 1, 2, 3 years and not long term, but now they're staying long term. And with that, as we can imagine, millennials are the largest share of renters with nearly 50% of them are renters, which means less than half are buying homes. And that's a really interesting article. And this is just the beginning of the article. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of data in it, but it was fantastic. Here's some other insights. Metros like Las Vegas, Bakersfield, Sacramento, and Boise, where rents have dramatically risen, are making renters more reluctant to move. So with rent inflation, as well with homeownership inflation, renters stay put because they're sticking with the stability of their current situation versus taking risk of finding something more affordable or as affordable. And then here's a whole other phenomenon. And when I first read the article, I didn't intuitively think this, but it's absolutely true. What's happening is the supply of build to rent single family homes has just absolutely exponentially increased. And so now today, if you're a renter, you can rent a beautiful new home that's fairly affordable, right? And it gives you everything you want, right? And that's the next thing. This is really interesting, is that the most desirous rental, the most likely type of rental property that somebody will stay for over 10 years is a 3-bedroom house for rent. They call that the Goldilocks of housing. That's why all this rent-to-own single-family residence is so popular, because those renters are going to be there for a decade. And what a wonderful thing it would be if you were a homeowner. And so that's having a big impact on people renting longer term, right? And then here's the thing too, we have to keep in mind. A lot of times people rent out of fear over the difficulty in having to buy. In buying, they don't want have to do an application and qualification and credit report and all, and bringing up the down payment and everything. But renting is no sunshine and roses either. You have to go through a lot of that same stuff. You have to do application, credit. You're gonna have to put down payment. You got moving costs. You got to sign a lease. And so renting is really a pain in the butt too, which is also helping keep renters in the same place. They're like, I don't need the hassle of moving. I'm staying here. And so they're just staying put longer. And there you go. Now, let's look at the data, then I'm going to give you some kind of what's this all mean to us kind of thing. Here's the article, super good article. I've never heard of this, people, but that was terrific. You're going to get just a ton of data. This right here is renters, how much they spend in their homes. So you can see 10 plus years. You can see the light green, it's increasing. That's 2022. The darker color is 2017. So now the average person is rented for over 18.7% of renters have lived in their place more than 10 years. If you actually were to add that with the 5 plus years, you're at almost 37%, of all renters staying put for at least 5 years. You see the 1 4 years hasn't changed really at all, but you've seen now that people are living less, the amount of time they live in less than a year is shrinking because they're staying longer. So this is a really good chart. Here's just some other information by city, kind of tells you where it breaks out. Bakersfield has the longest short tenure renters. Here's long tenure. You can see Riverside has the longest tenure of long. Average renter in Riverside stays put for 7.2 years. The average renter in Las Vegas stays put for 6.9 years. Wouldn't that be great places to be an investor, to own a single-family residence to rent? And so you can see what the numbers are. Like I said, this is a really good article. Rent jumpers. Here's the thing. You can actually look up every single metro. You can look it up over a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and it doesn't end there. It just keeps going. Here's how 3-bedroom houses rent. Really nice looking, right? And then here's how here's a share of renters by number of bedrooms by the largest metro areas. So as you can see, as I just shared with you, that is a lot of terrific data. Now let's wrap this up with some, what's it mean to us, or what's the action point? Here's a few things we know. The average first-time buyer is 38 years old. And that, of course, aligns with what this article says. Renters are staying in place longer. Well, if renters turn into buyers and renters stay longer, then it makes sense that first-time home buyers are older. But what we have to do is we have to figure out if renters are renting longer, and if first-time home buyers are 38, by that number a decade earlier was in the 20s, right? But 38, what that means is we may get into relationship, we may get a referral or inquiry from somebody who kind of wants to learn about buying by someone in their 20s that isn't going to execute that purchase until their late 30s. That means we might have to incubate that lead, that relationship, for over a decade before it comes to transaction. So now being in your lender for life doesn't mean after I close you a deal, I'm going to take care of you for the next 30 years. Lender for life means I'm going to be your pre-lender, helping you do the journey up to home ownership, helping you position financial literacy, all those things, your home loan action plan. But I'm going to start, instead of 30, 60, 90 days before, I'm going to start 10, 11, 12 years before. And what we have to do is we have to build our processes and customer journeys and technology to support that. And we have to change our strategies about how we deliver value and how we stay in contact and relevant, so that if we're in a relationship for 10 years, they don't get sniped at the end of that 10 years, because that would just be unbelievably painful. As you'd imagine, I did a LinkedIn post on this. Really gave a ton of the highlights from the article. You can check out my LinkedIn right here. And then I put a link to the article, as I mentioned. I will put a link to the article in my notes down below. This was a terrific article. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. I hope you got a lot of really good ideas. Think about how you're going to start pre-serving a home buyer in that lender for life strategy. With that, hope you have a great day. I appreciate you giving me some of your time. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.